Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Tardis Zone live on this Saturday evening. And as you can see, we're about to talk the Tom Hardy rumors. Is he the new James Bond? And I'm going to get some of your guys on tonight, like we did last night. I decided why not? It was so popular last night. Why not do it again tonight? So if any of you would like to come on and talk about Tom Hardy, I will actually read an article for you now in a minute. There was an account on Twitter also that broke the news, and apparently they're very reliable sources. And they've been right in the past. Tom Hardy's name obviously has popped up ever since Spyfall, actually, when the rumors that Daniel Craig was going to give up the role. So if you would like to come on, let me know how you feel about Tom Hardy as the new James Bond. Would you be happy with the casting? Um, Here's my 2 cents on it. I believe the reason why the current franchise of Bond is woke is down to Daniel Craig himself. Um, and I think what happened was basically he got a little bit too much power, and he had a lot more influence. Sure, wasn't he the one that actually asked for what's her name, Phoebe Waller-Bridge, that writer, and we know her writing style. So for me, Tom Hardy would probably be the best choice for the simple fact of the matter is I actually think they want to move away from that and bring Bond back to the way it should be. They might even go a little bit grittier with his Bond. I don't mind. I don't care. I'm just throwing all this out. You can let me know when I put the link in the chat if you want to come on. But I think all this crap that's been in James Bond the last few years that has crept in has been down to Daniel Craig. And if Tom Hardy has been chosen to be the next James Bond, well then I think personally it's a good choice. Because as I said, Daniel Craig did insist that writer be brought in. So I'm starting to think a lot of this stuff that's been creeping into Bond, especially during the Daniel Craig era, has been mostly down to himself, to be honest. Because if you look at Casino Royale, that was pretty much a straightforward Bond movie. Yes, we did see a kind of vulnerable side to Bond, but it wasn't overdone, you know. And someone made the point as well. This is like a James Bond, the whole Daniel Craig era has been like a James Bond origin story that we didn't even need, which I absolutely 100% agree with. So I think they need to go back to basics. I don't think they should listen to the public, the ones that have been calling, or the vocal minority that have been calling for Bond to be a woman. You clearly are clueless. It was written male, Ian Fleming, his books. So I mean, the source material is there. You can't just gender swap stuff just because you feel like it. Right? James Bond is and will always be a man. Simple as that. And it should stay like that. So again, this Tom Hardy announcement, if it does come, will be will be as will be a sigh of relief for James Bond fans, because obviously there has been talk over the last few years that they want to gender swap. I actually think it's bull. I actually think this is all being, there's a certain listen, they know their audience, right? They know why their movies have been successful. Some obviously haven't been, but that does happen with a franchise this long. But overall, it's been pretty much a successful. Yeah, that's because Cheryl's in the room watching, and she wants to leave him in with me to kind of getting used to me. But he heard her going into the bathroom, and he's crying now. So hold on, I have him. Right, you need to stop crying, buddy. Now sit beside daddy. Good boy. So yeah. So if anybody wants to come on, let me know. There's 23 of you watching. Obviously, we go live a lot earlier on a Saturday night, but this is literally just going to be a short stream. We're only going to go for about an hour. So if you want to come on and give your 2 cents to the conversation, let me know, and I'll throw the link in now in a few minutes. Ted, you're okay. Just sit there, buddy. Look, sit beside that. There you go. Sit. Good boy. Good boy. Oh no. Right, I'll get up this article anyway, if I can concentrate. Sorry about Ted. Unfortunately, he's gonna keep going. Right, so I'm just getting the Twitter. Right. Right, where is this? Yeah, some people. So here it is. So this is a newspaper article. They will obviously quote the source in this, but I'll show you. I know. I've seen some people in the chat are asking, is he suave enough and all of this? Yeah, that would be a bit of an issue. But in saying that, we all know Tom Hardy has pedigree, right? And that doesn't necessarily mean that he'll actually be a good Bond. But I know other people have talked about Tom Hiddleston and people like that, but I think they want to go for, look, Daniel Craig buffed up for the role, and I think the reason why they're choosing Tom Hardy is because he'll buff up for the role. As people have said, this franchise has kind of moved into the kind of Jason Bourne kind of way of doing things, so maybe they're looking for a more. They're going to continue the more serious Bond. I don't know. Listen, I like Tom Hardy myself, so I have no issue if he has been cast. To be quite honest with you, I'd be delighted. I think he's a great, terrific actor. I mean, if you haven't seen Bronson, I mean, he's absolutely brilliant in that. He's a bloody lunatic, but he's brilliant. So I'm a fan. So I know there's people out there that people think are better choices. Fair enough, but I'm willing to give Tom Hardy a go and see if he can make a good James Bond. I mean, let's be honest. People didn't think Daniel Craig, and no matter what you say about his movies, right? When Daniel Craig was cast, I remember all the backlash because he was light haired. He wasn't the dark. He hadn't got the dark hair. You know what I mean? Like other Bonds. He was. I think he's the first fair haired Bond that we actually got, if I'm correct in saying. But yeah, there was backlash. But I have to be honest, Casino Royale, I think he smashed it out of the park. I think himself as a Bond is actually not a bad Bond. It's just when they start adding all of this vulnerability and all this other crap to him. We know Bond can be vulnerable, but when they keep doing it and doing it. And then the whole Vespa thing, get over it. Okay, she died, but get over it, man. What you do is to get over it is what you've always done: shag other women and kill, because you got a license to do that. But yeah, they just need to go back to the formula. Wasn't George Lazenby blonde, or am I imagining that? I don't know. Maybe he was. I haven't seen those movies in a while, to be quite honest with you, Leland. Or that movie on Her Majesty's Secret Service. I haven't seen it in a long, long time. So I don't know. But I do remember at the time when Daniel Craig was cast that a lot of people didn't like the fact that he was fair haired. And I don't think his Bond has been that bad. Yes, the movies have kind of went. Listen, Casino Royale and Spyfall, out of the whole lot of the movies that he's done, for me, I love those two movies. The rest of them are meh, right? I mean, Quantum of Solace is a shit show, right? Then it was followed up with Spyfall, which I thought was very good. Of course, we did get the next one, which was, yeah, we won't even. I don't even like to comment about the other one. And this one, I have to say, looking at the second trailer, it does look impressive, but they could be tricking us. There has been apparently reshoots for that one. But overall, as a Bond himself, I'm not critical of Daniel Craig. He might have been responsible for some of the stuff that's gotten into the movies, but as a Bond, I think he was a pretty good Bond, to be honest. And he's played it well. It's just his time is up. His time was up after Spyfall, in fairness. They should have actually, when they got rid of Judi Dench, they should have actually got rid of Daniel Craig as well and recast. And I know my dad is not a fan of Craig as Bond. He's a fan of Sean Connery and obviously Roger Moore, and he did like Pierce Brosnan, but he's definitely not a fan of Craig. He did like the Timothy Dalton movies. He thinks but in fairness, he should have got a couple of more movies. Timothy Dalton. His Bond, right? Here's where I stand on Timothy Dalton's Bond. Timothy Dalton's Bond was an era too early, if that makes sense. If we had waited another 10 years for when he was cast originally and then brought him in, then I think we would be looking at probably one of the two greatest movies. Well, yeah, the movies are great. I actually think, License to Kill is a great movie. And In the Living Daylights is actually a great movie. Actually, I like the two of them. Yeah, we'd be looking at two of the top Bond movies because they're overlooked because it is Timothy Dalton and because there's a lot of diehard James Bond fans for some weird reason don't like him, and I don't know why. I've never gotten my head around that because I think seriously, Timothy Dalton, man, I'd actually watch the two movies tonight if I had my way, of course, because they're brilliant. I mean, 10 years too early, I think, for his Bond. But there you go. Head of its time. That's it. I agree. Right. I've been yapping away for 15 minutes, right? Well, 14. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to give a few shout outs and I'm going to put the link in the chat. If you would like to come on, I'm going to read the article first, actually. Jesus, look, I don't even know what I'm doing anymore. Right, here, hold on. Hold on, Teddy bear. Come here. Come here. Right, so it's from the Express. Oh, Jesus, look at this. Cookie, get away, man. Come up here, buddy. Come up here. Like the breaking news comes up. Meghan Markle makes a rare statement. Jesus, the girl's never out of the press. Right, so they have someone else here, right? So I don't know who that actor is. Let me see. James Bond, new favorite on replacing Daniel Craig. Time for change. Sorry, white guys, is their headline on that one. Wow. Right. So Tom Hardy cast as new James Bond to replace Daniel Craig after No Time to Die. Tom Hardy has allegedly been cast as the next James Bond to replace Daniel Craig after No Time to Die, claims a respected scooper. This article is by George Simpson and it was updated. Is it the 19th? It is today, isn't it? Yeah, it was updated. So he must have put it out early and he's just had to update in the article. Right, let's hope we don't go. And no videos, no videos. Right. He he's been one of the bookies' favourites to be the next James Bond for the last few years. That is true. And now a respected scooper has reported that Tom Hardy has indeed been cast as the next 007 to replace Daniel Craig after No Time to Die. However, this is not official confirmation, and so the claim should be taken with a pinch of salt. Even the newspapers, right? Responsible newspapers will say it, right? Then you get idiots like Hugh Fullerton who do articles on Doctor Who production starting, and he doesn't say, take it with a pinch of salt. The Vulcan Reporter. So this is the source, right? And apparently there are loads of people, obviously, that cover multiple subjects on YouTube and do be on Twitter, says that this source, when they come out with something, they're normally spot on. They have they seem to have some insider knowledge. So the Vulcan Reporter claims that they heard back in June that Hardy had basically been locked into the role after a successful audition. Reportedly, the 43-year-old was expected to be announced as the new Bond in November, but it now seems unlikely due to the ongoing beer bug. Nevertheless, the outlet anticipates that this announcement will come before the end of 2020, while they also admitted that 2021 seems likely, especially if No Time to Die is delayed again. Incredibly, there were rumors dating back to 2017, as I said, that Tom Hardy was signed on and ready to step into if Daniel Craig didn't return for a fifth movie. But as we know, he did, because money talks. Now, obviously this is a photoshopped image, or maybe, oh no, or this is probably in one of his other movies. I don't know. I forget. He does wear black tuxedo in The Craze. Where, yeah, they didn't call it The Craze though, did they? I forget what they bleeding called that movie. It wasn't great though. Of course, some fans have pointed out that Eon Productions likes to focus on the Bond film they're making before they think about the next one. But No Time to Die, having made final edit months ago, there certainly was more time on producers' hands than usual. And with Craig's final Bond movie originally had been set to release a year ago, it doesn't seem out of this world for Barbara Broccoli. I can never say her name right. Or Michael G. Wilson to start thinking about Bond 26 and the next 007 actor. It is also worth pointing out that the reporting outlet is respected among other scoopers. So I heard this back in June. At that point, Hardy's casting wasn't official, but he has been auditioning and was basically locked into the role. It's similar to how Craig said that he got the role of Bond, and then months later, it was officially announced. DR Movie News tweeted they're a very reliable source, so it seems as if it's only a matter of time before this is officially announced, while this insider, Skylar Schuler, tweeted, I'm no Bond scooper, but at Villian doesn't run nonsense. If he's hearing Hardy is the new Bond, then that's what's up. And trailer track Anton Volkov said also seemed to give the benefit of the doubt, commenting, "If this pans out, no way they announce before No Time to Die. I will be very curious as to the timing of when Hardy was locked in." He added, "I know many fans have been hoping Eon used the beer bug delay break to kickstart the process of Bond 26, so it doesn't take another 5 years to get that film. It's also worth pointing out Hardy is a regular collaborator of Christopher Nolan, a fan favorite to direct a Bond in the future. I'd actually love Christopher Nolan to direct the next Bond movie, to be quite honest. Uh, and I know Tenant, I haven't watched it yet, so I'm not going to make any rash judgments on that movie. But I have seen that the reviews are very mixed for that movie. But James Bond is a different animal. Look what he did with the Batman franchise. He did breathe new life into that franchise, to be quite honest. Well, bred life into the character. I love the Nolan movies. Nolan told MTV Happy Sad Confused podcast when promoting Dunkirk in 2017 he'd be amazing. He really would. While Nolan told Playboy that year, "I've spoken to producers Barbara and Michael over the years. Maybe one day that will work out. You have to be needed, if you know what I mean. It has to be a reinvention. It has to need you." I think he is. If they're going to reinvent or reboot Bond, well, they do with a new actor, don't they? They kind of do reboot it every time. Um, yeah, I wouldn't mind Nolan. I would like to hear your thoughts on that. So basically, there you go. So for anybody that wants to check out that the name of that source, it's I can't say their name properly, but there it is. There it's Zulian, uh, and apparently they're well respected in the community, and you know, there you go, Tom Hardy. So it'll be interesting to see what you guys all have to think. Oh, what you got? See what you guys all think about that. Why is this computer freezing? Okay, let's see if me comments have. Yes, they froze. Just give us a second, guys, because I can't see our comments. And we are back. Right. That's good. Right, about to put the link in the chat. If you want to come on, talk about this, let me know. There you go. It's gone in now. And again, thank you all last night. Great stream last night. Want to thank all the guests that come on. Absolutely fantastic. Every single one of you. And thank you for contributing. Sorry about the middle of the stream. Of course, we didn't tolerate any nonsense, and we won't be tolerating any nonsense either. If as I said, if you come on, you talk the subjects that we're talking about or the topics that we're talking about, and if you don't stick to those topics and you start messing, well, then you'll be removed. It's as simple as that. As I said, the link is in the chat. If you want to pop in, you know, I see there's a few of you in the chat that have never been on before. Some of you that have. So, you know, this doesn't work unless you guys hop in. So I don't know what the story is with it. But look, according to that source, he impressed. He impressed with the audition. And listen, these guys, Barbara and Michael, have been making these movies a while now. Okay, they have experience. So if they have cast Tom Hardy, well, you can be sure that they've cast him because he blew them away. They're not just going to cast, you know, people. As I said, I don't. People can criticize Daniel Craig's Bond. That's their own opinion. But I like these casting, and they don't really get it wrong. They don't get it wrong, really. I mean, every actor that has played Bond, I haven't had a problem with. I like some over others, but every single one of them, I don't have there's not one that I would say, yeah, I really hate that Bond. Um, I like them all, but obviously I have my favorites. But yeah, I mean, look, at the end of the day, we just have to wait and see. They reckon the end of the year, maybe next year. If I was a betting man, I'd probably say next year because I do reckon they're gonna have to delay this movie again. They've been pushing a lot of movies, as you have seen. A lot of movies that were supposed to be out next month and the month after have all been pushed, and even some movies that were supposed to be already out have been pushed. So you know, it'll depend. It'll depend on this beer bug and whether it eases up enough for them to feel safe enough to start letting people go and watch these movies. Because if they release all these movies online on streaming services, they're gonna be butchered. Um, I mean, nobody wants to watch a James Bond movie on a small screen. Or Wonder Woman 1984 if people choose to watch that, or Suicide Squad 2. You know, we want to be watching those movies on a big screen. So, I mean, they're, I reckon they'll delay this again until they know that they can show it in the cinema because they want to make the maximum amount of money as possible. So, I'll put the just in case you have forgotten, I've put the link in the chat. I'm putting it in again. It's there for you to come on. If you don't come on, we finish up soon. It's you know what I mean. This doesn't work unless you interact with me because I'm very limited on what I can say about Tom Hardy's casting. I just didn't want to talk Doctor Who news today. I just wanted to take a break from Doctor Who news, to be quite honest with you. So when I seen this, as I am a Bond fan, I thought I'd speak about this. So come on, because if you don't come on, we're a half an hour in. I mean, we'll be finishing up in about 15 minutes' time because I'm running out of things to say because there's not much I could say about Tom Hardy that I've already said. I think he'd be a good choice. Um, and maybe the current politics that's creeping in to the Craig era will disappear. And listen, this is a very, if you think about it as well, guys, though, um, Tom Hardy in real life we've seen him. We know what his attitude is like. It takes no bull. That guy would literally kill you where you stand if you rubbed him up the wrong way. So I mean, he's got that kind of personality. So I don't know. His Bond could turn out to be bloody sensational. Being honest, he'll know how to play. Listen, when this Bond has nothing to lose, or his version of Bond has nothing to lose, I think he'll play it very well. I think he'll play it very well. I think we're going to be shocked, to be honest with you. And his fighting scenes, they'll be great. They'll be great. You know, he's 43 as well. He's only 43. So I mean, in the terms of the age, this is the right time for him. You know, and I mean, look, he's paid his dues. He's done his movies. We all have movies that we like of his. We all have movies that we dislike of his. But he's earned his stripes. So, you know, look, I know some people like Tom Hiddleston. Okay, fair enough. He kind of has the look of a Bond. I agree. I can understand why he's want him. But, you know, I don't think they're going for that type of Bond anymore. I don't think they want that type of Bond anymore. That's just my personal opinion. I think Tom Hardy fits into the mold of Bond that they want. Remember, this franchise has been slowly creeping into the kind of Jason Bourne kind of mentality, the way they've been doing it, right? It's, you know, it's been far removed. Where's the gadgets? You know, we start getting bits here and there, Jordan Craig's series, but where's the gadgets? Where's the as people say, the tongue in cheek? There is none, because that's not the way they want to go anymore. I think with this, I actually think they want Bond to stay a serious franchise now. You know, I think they want to get rid of the old tongue in cheek, because you don't really see Daniel Craig's Bond do a bit of tongue in cheek. You know, so I mean, look, that's where I stand on it anyway. But we do have someone here. He'll probably be the only person that will come in today, but we'll go for a few minutes, and we'll see if anybody else wants to pop in. But he was here last night, and it was great conversation. So we'll get Gary is here again. So let's see what Gary has to say about the casting, or alleged casting, of Tom Hardy. Let's see if he's a yay man or a nay man. Let's see. Hey, Gary.
Hello. I know. Thanks for having me back on.
No problem, mate. No problem.
No, I just thought I'd support you a little bit, and just, if it encourages anybody,
Thanks for coming on. Thanks,
No.
man. I thought I was going to be embarrassed there, but yeah, they're all in the chat. They're all chatty, and they don't even have to put a camera on. And some of them could come on that've never been on before, and they don't even have to show their face and give their.
It's very nerve-wracking, isn't it? First time, right? It's very nerve-wracking. You get.
I suppose, yeah. The first time I did stream, I did say I was nervous, but here's what I said. And you were nervous the first time you were on, but look at you now. Here's the thing, though. Once you take that first step, I keep saying it to you. If you keep saying, "Oh, I'll come on," and you keep putting it off, it gets harder. Just bite the bullet, as they say, and come on. Anyway, Gary, nice to have you on anyway, pal. So, Tom Hardy, what are you thinking?
Well, I think Tom Hardy's a good character actor. He's just a natural actor. He can turn his hand to anything. So I don't see a problem with him being James Bond, and with the right script, I think he'd do a good job. I don't have a problem with it. But in terms of, talking about franchises changing and they're dying off a little bit, it's all to do with the way language and everything's changed over the last 20 years, and people are becoming desensitized, aren't they, really? And even more so now with all the technology we've got and all the options that you've got with Netflix and subscriptions and things, the options, and people are just moving on to other things, aren't they? And I think the coronavirus, a lot of people have got used to staying in, and I don't know whether people are just going to be used, because of the fact we don't know how long it's going to be lasting. I mean, we're in a second lockdown type situation, really. So we don't know what's going to be happening in the short term, do we, really, or the medium term? But in the long term, if it all does go back to normal, I think Tom Hardy would be a good choice. He's a good character actor. He's an action-packed type guy. And I think, like what you were saying before with the going back to Jason Bourne, but I think that's the times we live in now, though, Noel. Life now is very fast and action-packed, and the way things are filmed. And a lot of us are older as well. I mean, I don't know what the age demographic could be for people going to watch James Bond in the pictures, but
Yeah,
but say my day it was Roger Moore. I grew up with I'm a '70s child, so I grew up with Roger Moore, and that's my type of Bond. But it was a different era than the '60s and '70s. They all suited their particular eras. The James Bonds, didn't they? Craig Daniels to me has been a fantastic Bond for this era. But I think
yeah.
because of but with all the stuff that's going on, the woke and everything, people are just becoming desensitized and they're switching off from it.
I agree, and again, I will defend Craig to a certain extent when it comes to playing Bond. I think he's played it well, but I think he has been responsible to some of this nonsense that has gotten into the character
Yeah,
lately. And you know, listen, Bond is flawed. We know that. Yes, he can be vulnerable at times, but you don't need to show it in every single bloody story that you're telling now. And we did need an origin story. Casino Royale, started off with a bang. I love that whole black and white scene in the bathroom where he's kicking the crap out your man to get his double O status. No, that's the second kill. He needs one more. And then he's in the office with your man and he just basically shoots your man. He gets his double O status. I thought that movie was great. And then they
yeah,
followed it up with Quantum of Solace. And that's, you lost a lot of the audience there, to be quite honest with you.
but
Some of them didn't come back for Spyfall. It was only after the fact when Spyfall started getting good reviews, everybody started watching that movie. That to me and Casino Royale are his two best movies, and I dismissed the rest of them.
well, to me, Casino Royale is the best James Bond film, and it came at the right time, really, because the Pierce Brosnan films, to me, they started to degenerate into the Roger Moore territory.
Yeah,
It suited Roger Moore, but when I was watching it as Pierce Brosnan, even the fight scenes and the bloody nose and everything, it just didn't look realistic or
yeah,
anything to me. Daniel Craig came along. I thought this is the James Bond. This makes MI5 look real type. It felt real. It felt natural. It felt that's what they should be like. And it came at the right time. It was a great film. But I didn't like his second film. I can't remember what it was called now, but I did enjoy
Quantum of
Sky
Solace.
Quantum of
No,
Solace.
who? Pierce Brosnan's second movie or Daniel Craig's second movie?
Oh, sorry, I apologize. Pierce Brosnan. I thought GoldenEye was brilliant, but
GoldenEye is fantastic. Yeah, the second one, that was what was that called? The
I
never
can't
no
remember.
the
No,
was it the world is not enough or something? No, was that the third one? The world is not enough, or was that
was
the
it
second one?
was it Tomorrow Never Dies? The newspaper. Was it the newspaper one? The second one.
No, Tomorrow Never Dies. That could have been, yeah, the one with Terry Hatcher in yeah, the bleeding Lois Lane out of bleeding. That's Lois and Superman show.
Yeah,
Yeah,
well,
that was. Yeah, I didn't like that one.
I thought that it started to slip. The first, I preferred the gritty James Bonds. That's why I loved the Timothy Dalton movies because I was a teenager then and I was going through puberty and the change and you're growing up in a bit. So growing up, Roger Moore started to become a bit old and you could tell it was stunt men doing the stunts and all that kind of. So when Timothy Dalton, that was the kind of James Bond I liked, the gritty, tougher James Bond, the
And yeah,
darker.
yeah,
I, I I don't like. I liked Roger Moore when I was a kid growing up, but as an adult, I prefer a gritty James Bond, a darker James Bond.
yeah.
I like James Bond with flaws that has to drink and sleep with women to hide behind his problems of the job and everything. I like that kind of James Bond.
Yeah, which they did do in Casino Royale very well. I just don't know how they went from Casino Royale to Quantum of Solace.
Yeah, it's
And
very strange. Yeah,
yeah, I mean, the opening sequence to Quantum of Solace is fucking amazing. That car chase through the tunnels is amazing. But then after that, it just completely loses its all sense of itself. It's it's like Bond is standing. I think there's a scene in it where isn't he standing in a street and he gets shot at and he just stands there like and I'm just like what's going on here? And then he's in a little car and I'm like, what the hell? Oh no, that movie, that whole general, the hotel out in the desert.
yeah.
Oh man. And I sat through the whole lot of it and it was just dire. It was
I don't.
dire. Like he was great in it. It was just the story was so like environmental crap, right? See, we didn't we didn't really comment on it because it wasn't as prevalent as it was back then. But if you
Yeah,
watch Quantum of Solace again, it was all about the environment, how we should save the fucking planet and all of this. They start creeping into Bond then, and that's what happened then. They start all this crap starts coming in, and what happens when you start putting that crap in, Gary?
yeah,
The storytelling suffers, the character development suffers, and everything. I mean, Craig's Bond did stood still in that movie.
yeah,
No character development. I mean, Spyfall. Then you could say they tried to then develop his story because I love that scene where he's in talking to the psychologist and he's asking all these associated words. What does this mean to you? And he goes and he goes bitch, right? I thought that was great. And then he goes Spyfall, and then he doesn't answer and he goes Spyfall, and he goes we're done. I love that. I love that whole seriously for me. If between Casino Royale and Spyfall, if I was to
yeah.
choose between those two, it's Spyfall for me. But only just, only just. I do love the whole story. I love the way he brings them to the island.
Yeah, yeah,
He messes with him. He messes
yeah.
with his head by feeling him up and all of this. Like it's all psychological, right?
It had a,
And
it, it had a
go ahead.
Batman feel to it, didn't it? Really, it had quite a Batman feel, didn't it? To it, really. The
Yeah,
mansion and in the Scottish Highlands. He's obviously
yeah.
come from wealth. That felt very Batman-y. Yeah, it was a brilliant film. But going back to Quantum of Solace, I'm sure they were filmed back to back. There wasn't a really a big gap, was there? So maybe they rushed the storyline, hooked you in with Casino Royale, and there you go. Maybe it was filmed back to back. I don't know because there wasn't a real big gap between the two films, was there?
No, there wasn't. You're right. But you would think after making such a good movie with the first one and the way it went, that you would have been able to keep up the momentum. And it looked like they did for the first 10 minutes of the first movie with the whole chase and then down the tunnels, as I said. And then after that, it's like, okay, we've created a good movie, 10 minutes of a good movie. Let's just wing the rest. It just felt, I don't know, even the woman in it, like she was good, but there was just nothing likable about her. I didn't care whether she was killed or that her family was killed by this general. I actually quite liked the general, to be honest with you. He was a sadistic pig, and I wanted Bond like to basically kill him because that's what we want from our villains. But
Yeah, yeah,
even Mr. Brain, I mean, even him as a villain, he wasn't a great villain. And then how does he die? He hands him a can of fucking oil, and then
yeah,
his body is found in the desert after drinking it like dead. Like the villains were crap,
yeah.
and this Mister White thread that they were doing through the movies that was interesting, but then he fucking gets him at the get away, get away. They lost an opportunity after Casino Royale.
I think franchises like James Bond and Doctor Who, I think there's only so many stories they can tell and in a particular way. But these were great for this particular era. But I
Yeah,
think they've done all the Ian Fleming books. They've been done to death. I don't know whether John Gardner, who writes the books now, whether they ever use any of his scripts or anything. But they've gone so far from Ian Fleming's books. But that's in general anyway because of the gender politics, social politics, identity politics, and everything. It's all gone far removed from what it was, and it's all just descended into the realm of silliness, isn't it? You know, and
yeah. I got a bold question to actually ask you. And the reason why I say it's a bold question is because you brought something up, a very good point there. You said that the Ian Fleming books have been basically done to death, right? So, how about this then for an option that some of the stories, the past stories, now I'm only throwing this out there, don't shoot me. Well, what if they redid them with Tom Hardy? What if
yeah, well,
they started them? What if they started from the beginning and did
Exactly.
Doctor No?
Completely rebooted it and just gone back to the Ian Fleming books because they used to do that with the James Bond comic strips. They used to adapt them from his novels, but they're completely different to what the films are. If you know what you mean, the way the
Yeah.
scripted, the
Well, how
storylines, and
would you
everything.
feel about that idea, Gary? Would you
I
would
think
you
it'd be
be down for that?
Oh gosh, yeah, because if you look at some of the classics, from Russia from Love, Doctor No, The Man with the Golden Gun, there's some good classics out there, and you can retell them in a different way so that they're not identical, if you know what I mean. But the synopsis
Yeah,
is basically the same. But oh, you could do that. I think they possibly will do that one day after our lifetime anyway, because there's only so many stories they can tell, isn't there? Really,
yeah. And they
without
are, and you have to give
fitting.
it to them. They are trying to tell, you know, yeah, a new story, but at the same time, they are trying to see. This is where they're hindered, basically. Though they are trying to tell new stories, and you can see that they're making a genuine effort, and that's why I think we gravitate towards those movies. But what hinders them is that they're still trying, you know, pay homage or to add classic elements like they've done through the Daniel Craig era, particularly with the car.
Yeah,
They keep bringing back the car. Enough is enough now. You know what I mean? But
yeah.
they make these little. I think they should just look, as you said, the Ian Fleming books. They've done them to death now. Unless they're gonna just reboot the whole lot, just continue to tell your own stories, but do Bonds as they did try to do with Daniel Craig's. Give your own take on it. The fans will be okay with that. I know some of the diehard fans will say no, they should stick the way it's always been done, and I get that to a certain extent. But for this franchise to continue to survive, because if you look over the last few years, even the Craig movies, they not all of them have been box office hits. And even the ones that have been box office hits, if you compare them to movies of the past, they should be doing a lot better, but they're not. So this franchise has been struggling for years, to be quite honest with you. That's why I think they've kind of tried to go down this direction with Daniel Craig. So I don't know where you'd stand on that, but they have to do something. Tom Hardy for me would seem to be the right choice.
I think there's
Uh,
another point to make, Noel. There's another point to make, and one of that. Don't forget, males are slowly being demasculated, and everything masculine and macho about a man's being stripped away, slowly and gradually. So there's another. They're already talking about this trail, and I haven't really, to be honest, at this particular Bond, and apparently there's supposed to be woke this, and there's a female double O agent and all that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? But the bottom line is, I think that the P is being taken out of men in general because we've got men who are rapists to be the fathers. It's like we're all being classed the same, and
yeah,
I don't particularly like it. Men are being demasculated and women are being empowered, and it's horrible. It should be equality, not lifting one and
exactly.
devalue the other one. It's not right.
Well,
It's
this
wrong, and
this
yeah,
this casting will be a welcome announcement if it does get announced. For the simple fact is, Bond fans, James Bond fans, or fans of this franchise have been worried, especially Jordan and Daniel Craig era, because there has been lot of talk. Now we do know that Barbara came out herself when all the talk about, well, the usual suspects coming out and saying, why can't Bond be a woman? Well, because Ian Fleming wrote him as a man, and it's the source material, and you're staying faithful to the source material. That's as simple as it is, right? It's not because we're chauvinistic pigs or we're sexist pigs. It's because that's what the source material and that's what was written all those years ago. So we're sticking to the source material. But here's the thing: this puts an end, hopefully, to this whole notion of a female doctor or a female Bond if he is announced. And it will actually be a blow for the other side because they've been pushing this a lot lately. It's not going to happen for the simple fact is Barbara is no fool. She knows that if she was to do this, she would kill the Bond franchise. She would kill what her dad, it's our dad, isn't it? Yeah. She would kill what her dad helped build up. She is not going to do that. She respects this IP too much. And yes, she may have allowed some of the crap to recently go into it. But I do honestly believe if Hardy has been cast since June and they haven't announced because the movie keeps getting pushed back, this is an indication that she's sticking to her guns. This is an indication that the woman is going to continue to go down the route, the way Bond should be, which is basically a man. And if anybody still has a problem with that in 2020, you can kiss me arse because you have taken everything else and destroyed everything else. Okay, even though the source material says that the character should be male, you have decided to go in, blunder in, and destroy them. You said ain't taken Bond. I said if James Bond fell, it'd be the end of James Bond, right? Even if Daniel Craig's Bond does have a female Bond in it, never fear, because if Tom Hardy is cast, that shit is not going to happen again. Trust me, Bond is going to go in a different direction again, and it'll probably be better than what we've gotten in the last few years. And you know what? I can't wait for the future. Can't wait. I hope he's. Do you know what? The sooner, if this is true, the sooner they make the announcement that the movie is being shown, the better, because then it'll be within a couple of weeks he'll be announced then as the next Bond. So the sooner this movie is thrown out there, the better. So let's all pray that the beer bug, come on, let's all pray for the beer bug to disappear so they can put this movie out so we can have the announcement. And let's hope then, and it will. Wait, you see them all when he's announced, if it gets announced. They're all going to be crying into their bowl of cornflakes. Will cry. You took everything else. You ain't take a Bond. I said if James Bond falls, and I'll say it again, and if it still does fall, it's game over. We've lost. Right? He was the last. He's the last one standing, as he should be anyway. James Bond. Right? If they take him and replace him with a woman, then we've lost. If they replace him, Daniel Craig, with Tom Hardy, well then the other side have lost and we have our Bond. And listen, by the way, it's around 2 or 3 year gap between each movie, yeah? So we will have Tom Hardy as Bond for at least, 3 movies. So that's 6 years of Tom Hardy as Bond, hopefully. So, that's something to look forward to. And I'm actually, if he's cast, I think it's a wonderful choice. I know people have their doubts, but what I'll say to you is this: let's give the man a chance. Let's give him a chance. Let him show us that he can play James Bond. I will defend Daniel Craig again and say a lot of people said that he couldn't play James Bond. He proved everybody wrong. Whether you like the movies or not, he did prove everybody wrong. And I think Tom Hardy, if cast, will do the same because these people behind Bond are not stupid. They've been working on this franchise for decades. They know what kind of person they want to get. They would have put him through a lengthy audition process. They wouldn't have just went with Tom Hardy for the sake of going with Tom Hardy. He would have been properly auditioned for this role, unlike a certain person in the other franchise that we love, right? This audition would have been done properly. And don't be surprised that we actually get, when he's announced, they'll probably show some of his audition to try win the fans over. Because there will be, I know there'll be fans out there that are James Bond fans that'll think that'll be wrong, but you'll also get the SJW, so they'll kick it up because it's not a woman. And rightly so, it should never be a woman. The source material says that Bond is a man, and that's the end of it. That's not a sexist thing, and that's one thing 100% I will back always. James Bond is a man. End of. There's no conversation to be had, right? So when when Tom Hardy gets cast, when he does, if he does, then the conversation's over. SJWs, he's lost. Move on and go and destroy something else instead because Bond is here to stay. Gary, would you like to add anything else before we finish up, pal?
Can I just say quickly, I don't know whether you're aware of the actor Rupert Perry Jones, but I think he'd have been a great James Bond.
Who?
Have you ever heard of an actor called Rupert Perry Jones?
Oh, yeah, I have. Yes. Yeah, yes, actually.
I thought he'd be a great James Bond, even to this day.
Hmm.
He's married.
Interesting.
He's married to the lady who played the Cyber King. Oh, I forgot her name now. Deborah Kerwin, is it?
Yeah,
She played the Sumpter in Ballycus Angel.
yeah. I used to watch Ballycus Angel.
Oh,
Yeah. I know what
that,
you're talking about there. A lot of people
yeah,
probably don't know Ballycus Angel, but yeah,
great
yeah.
series, isn't it? Yeah,
A lot of our Irish stars came from that show, believe it or not. That's the weird thing. A lot
yeah.
of the successful ones came from Ballycus Angel, which is weird.
Colin,
Um,
Colin Farrell.
yeah, I know. Yeah. Don't even go there, man. I don't even know how that. Listen, I love him in phone booth and stuff, but I mean, I
Yeah,
don't know how that man. He can't do an accent to save his life, and he's had a well, relatively successful career. And he's about to star in one of the biggest movie franchises in Batman.
yeah, yeah. Done really
Next week,
well.
tomorrow, that's what I want to bring up for tomorrow's topic. So I'm giving you a warning because this one kind of didn't work out as planned, but I want to thank Gary for sticking on for as long as he did and actually saving me from embarrassment. So I owe you that one, pal.
You
Uh,
know,
but tomorrow, we will talk the Batman, right? Because there's a lot of controversy over Robert Patterson. Now, I did see a clip of his of the latest movie that he's starring in with Tom Holland, and apparently he refused to use a dialect coach. Um, and some people says it shows. I couldn't stop laughing
mm,
with his scene with Tom Holland. I have to be honest, I'm a little bit worried now after seeing that because if he's refusing a dialect coach, and we've already know that he's refused to do any sort of exercise for this Batman role. Now, I gave him the benefit of the doubt after the trailer because I'm still sticking by it. I think that trailer was amazing, right? I know people don't like it, some people out there don't, but it did. It sucked me in, and I still like it. So, but I am a bit worried. But we're gonna talk all things Robert Patterson related to this movie and related to the latest movie that he did with Tom Holland. And we're gonna get you our opinions on Robert Patterson, what you think of the trailer, what you think of him personally taking the role, and the things that he has actually come out with. So that's the Tardis Zone talks tomorrow. So if you want to pop on, I'll be putting the link in the chat. So that's tomorrow. So I'm giving you, obviously, I'm warning you the night before. So you have plenty of time for anybody that hasn't come on. If that'll give you time to build up the courage, come on, rant about Robert Patterson. Um, he's coming out with stupid statements. I'm hearing stupid things. It's not sounding good. It still doesn't mean that he's going to be bad in the role. It's just I'm a bit worried now. That's and it's only natural. But yeah, I think it's worth talking about because, as I said, until there's Doctor Who news, I'm not going to talk about it. To be honest with you, when we do streams like this, we did one last night. We don't need to keep talking about it, so we'll do Robert Patterson tomorrow. And if there's anything else as well, right, that you guys would like to bring up tomorrow, if you don't want to bring up Robert Patterson's Batman, but that's the main topic of conversation. But if you guys have anything else that you want to bring up tomorrow, you are more than welcome. You will get about 10, 50, it all depends how many we get in the studio. If we don't get many people, I'll give you a bit more time on. If we do, then it'll be the usual 10-minute per person. And then we'll get as many of your opinions as we can. Gary, before we go, do you want to add anything? And then we'll leave it at that. We've gone the hour. I said I was only doing an hour. So this time, for once in my life, I'm going to actually stick to what I said, because I always say an hour and then I end up going for another three, Gary. So,
yeah.
yeah. And
No,
that doesn't
very,
go down with the missus.
no, thank you very much. And love to Eddie and Cheryl, of course, and to chat. Thank you very much.
No problem. Listen, Gary, thanks for coming on. I really appreciate it. It's been a pleasure having you on. And if you want to pop on tomorrow to talk about Patterson's Batman, you're more than welcome.
No, thank you.
I'll probably go early on tomorrow. I'll say probably go between 6 or 7 o'clock tomorrow, a little bit earlier for
No
you
problem.
all, so you can enjoy the rest of the evening. We'll do an hour and then we'll head off. Right, Gary, thank you for joining us. Right, folks, thanks in the chat, everybody, for joining me tonight. And I don't know if I had any of the moderators in the chat tonight. I don't think there was any moderators in the chat tonight. If there was, thank you. And everybody else that joined me tonight, thank you very much. And I will see you all tomorrow. And we'll see what else happens during the night. There's always something, isn't there? Something always breaks during the night, so I'm pretty sure there'll be something tomorrow that we can add onto the topics of conversation tomorrow. Until then, good night. Look after yourselves. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and I will see you all tomorrow.